My wife's male best friend became a stand-up comedian. To support him, my wife, Daphne Sinclair, bought out all the tickets for his show and invited friends and family to pack the audience. He was ecstatic, talking glibly in front of the crowd. My bestie has such a thing for pretty young guys. He joked on stage. Who knew she'd end up marrying an old fossil? Put him in a bunny girl outfit and he still can't get it up. Isn't that hilarious? The ridiculous line brought the house down. But I froze. How did he know such an intimate detail about our marriage? He acted like it was nothing, just smiling at me. Just a joke. Brother-in-law, don't be mad. Daphne tells me everything. Even the traditional Chinese medicine you're drinking for your male problems was recommended by me. I know a great old doctor. I stood up furiously, but Daphne yanked me back into my seat. What are you causing a scene for? Everyone is watching. Don't embarrass me. This is Liam's first show. He needs some edgy material. Besides, stand-up is the art of offense. It's just a bit. Are you really going to take it seriously? I took it seriously. I quickly texted my brother, Leo Grant. A few lines. Draw up divorce papers for me. A marriage without respect isn't worth keeping. When the whole room was laughing too hard to breathe, I didn't realize he was talking about me. I just frowned slightly, finding this borderline topic vulgar and boring. It wasn't until they all looked at me with malicious glee, their eyes full of contempt, that I belatedly understood. The man in his routine who couldn't get hard even when his wife wore a bunny costume, that was me. I trembled all over, nauseated by the woman beside me. We were indeed trying for a baby, and due to health reasons, we had indeed resorted to various methods to help her conceive quickly. But the reason I wasn't enthusiastic about intimacy was that I had donated a kidney for her. I just never imagined that the most private matters between a husband and wife could be laid out in public like this. Turned into a punchline for everyone's amusement. A wave of sickening shame and humiliation rose from my chest. I just wanted to escape this venue as fast as possible. But Liam Chase raised his microphone and walked straight up to me. That he was smiling, but his eyes were full of mockery and challenge. Brother-in-law, you're not angry, are you? It's just a joke. Trying for a baby isn't anything to be ashamed of. Besides, Daphne and I grew up together. We're childhood sweethearts. She tells me everything. Even her techniques in the bedroom were taught by me. Her strategist. He deliberately raised his voice. And if you're still not up to it, I can get you some Viagra, guaranteed to make you sore. I could no longer contain myself. I shot to my feet, snatched the microphone he was holding, and smashed it into his body. Since you're so close you can even teach that, why don't you just step up and have one with her yourself? As soon as the words left my mouth, the room erupted into even louder laughter than before. LMFAO, he really thinks he's hot stuff. If young Master Liam was willing to marry Daphne Sinclair, where would he even rank? What an ugly loser making a scene. It's just a stand-up show. Who gets this worked up? Unbelievable. The chatter around me continued, but I didn't want to hear anymore. As I turned to leave, Daphne suddenly grabbed my wrist. What are you causing a scene for? Sit down right now. Don't make me lose face. This is Liam's first stand-up show. What's wrong with me? His childhood friend. Giving him some inspiration. You're being so unreasonable. Even throwing things at him. Now, apologize to him. Right now. Liam also started breathing heavily, pretending to hold me back while leaning half his body against Daphne. Daphne, don't blame your husband. It's my fault. I forgot he's not like us. He can't take any joke. I just wanted to use my professional skills to help you record the fun parts of trying for a baby. Plus, stand-up is the art of offense. It's not his fault if he doesn't get it. With one sentence, he made everyone see me as a brutish thug who didn't understand the art form and was just being overly aggressive. Watching their display of deep friendship made me sick. Liam, you're just too kind for not arguing with him. This is your stage. Say whatever you want. Don't mind him. She then turned to me and lowered her head helplessly. For me, please, just apologize first so Liam can get back on stage. Okay, this is his first performance. We can't let it get ruined. Again, her tenderness towards me was always bundled with her defense of another man. I tried to look at the ground, hiding the stinging tears welling up. I was the one who was offended. I was the one publicly ridiculed. Why should I apologize? I looked up again, clutching my empty right side where my kidney used to be, and stared hard at the two of them. Apologize? Fine. I cleared my throat, mimicking Liam's tone. There's this man, over 30 but shameless, always hanging around a married woman, calling it deep friendship. You know so many old Chinese doctors.is it because you sleep around so much you've caught a bunch of dirty diseases. Liam's face turned pale. Brother-in-law, you're insulting me. I sneered. Insulting you? Didn't you say offense is also art? Why do you fall apart when it's directed at you? I laughed until I doubled over. And you, Daphne, the reason we haven't gotten pregnant after trying for so long isn't my problem. You have such severe gynecological issues. The doctor said your uterine lining is thin as papered. Who knows how many abortions you've had? So, no matter how many tricks Liam teaches you, it's useless. Having said that, I ignored their blood-drained faces, turned, and strode toward the exit. Daphne's furious shrieks followed me, but I didn't look back, a cold smile touching my lips. I quickly texted my brother. I've made up my mind. Divorce. I left the venue, almost buckling from the pain. Daphne, ultimately, did not come after me, just like countless times before when she was angry. She would never leave her best friend behind to come after me alone. Even when I picked her up after gatherings, she would just say to me impatiently, "Are you even a man? So good at checking up on me. Liam is just my best friend. Do I need your permission to have dinner with him?" Her world always revolved around a man. It's just that the man wasn't me. I stood outside the venue, the night wind stinging my cheeks. My phone screen lit up with a reply from my brother. Leo Grant. What's wrong? I thought you loved Daphne Sinclair more than anything. Said you'd even donate a kidney for her without hesitation. I figured it out. I typed back, my fingers trembling. Daphne isn't worth such blind devotion. Gritting my teeth against the pain, I sent him my location and begged him to come quickly. The agony was overwhelming, forcing me to double over, pressing my hand tightly against my side. When I woke up again, it was Leo who had gotten me to the hospital. My phone buzzed incessantly. Looking down, I saw it was a call from my father-in-law. Mr. Sinclair Sr. The Sinclair family had invested heavily in this very hospital, all in the hope of securing an heir. So, of course, he knew I was admitted. I answered the call, but instead of paternal concern, I was met with a barrage of criticism. My daughter is the Sinclair heiress. Having a few close male confidants is hardly a major issue. As a man, you should have a man's magnanimity. Don't hold the past favors your family did for us over our heads as leverage. He paused, his tone brooking no argument. I will discipline Daphne properly for this incident, but you must clarify things with everyone. Tell them you were unwell yesterday, emotionally unstable, and made an excessively harsh joke. Don't let this minor matter damage Daphne's reputation. Hanging up, I almost laughed in bitter disbelief. The father and daughter were exactly alike. Point one demanding an apology, the other demanding a retraction. Ultimately, the fault would always be mine. I checked my phone. Daphne's location was still pinned at Liam Chase's apartment. She hadn't contacted me once all night, completely unaware I was in the hospital. Meanwhile, Liam's social media feed played out like a live broadcast. One moment, a cozy photo of them clinking glasses. The next, a video of Daphne dancing provocatively in his t-shirt. Clutching my aching abdomen, I mocked my own stupidity. How foolish had I been to naively believe her obsession with her male best friend was just childish fun. To think that if I gave her everything, even my own life, she would finally respect me. I understood now. You can't buy a conscience with a kidney. Just as this clarity settled in, the hospital room door swung open. Daphne walked in. James Foster, what are you doing in the hospital? She sat down by the bed without invitation and opened a thermos she was carrying. Why didn't you call me first if you were sick? Why go tattling to Dad and get me chewed out all morning? And because of you, Liam drank himself into a stupor last night. I couldn't sleep, and I had to apologize to investors first thing today. And you get to hide out here in peace and quiet. As she spoke, she scooped a spoonful of steaming seafood congee and shoved it toward my mouth. What happened yesterday was your fault. But given you're unwell, I'll let it slide. From now on, behave yourself and stop causing trouble for Liam. I didn't move, just stared intently at the crumpled t-shirt she was wearing. In an instant, the fishy stench of the seafood mixed with the unfamiliar scent of another man's cologne turned my stomach. Daphne, I said flatly, am allergic to seafood. Her delicate brows furrowed in annoyance. James, since when? You love seafood. Don't be difficult now. I laughed sarcastically. I'm afraid the seafood lover is someone else. You never remember me, do you? You never care. My voice grew colder. At the last project negotiation, you insisted on bringing Liam. Not only did he make bizarre comments that nearly tanked the deal, but I had to drink myself into stomach cramps to apologize and salvage the $50 million contract. When I was hospitalized for 4 drips, you didn't visit. Instead, you used the money you earned to buy Sports car. How many times have you done something like this? I've lost count. She jumped to her feet, her face contorted with rage. James, how dare you bring up these ancient, trivial matters? We're married. What's the big deal about spending some money? You will eat this congee. She tried to force the spoon on me. I was done explaining. I waved my hand away, and the thermos tipped, splashing the congee all over her. After all the injustice Liam suffered, he still cared enough to tell me to check on you. And you, not only are you ungrateful, but you make me filthy. How am I supposed to meet him like this? She shrieked, frantically brushing the mess off her clothes before storming out, slamming the door. Just a few steps down the hall, I heard a commotion. Daphne, what happened? Did that bastard take his anger out on you because of me? Should I go apologize to him myself? It was Liam's voice, without regard for anyone around. He pulled off his own t-shirt and handed it to her. Here, put this on. Don't catch a cold. Daphne giggled coyly, then grabbed a handful of Liam's exposed abs. You're so good to me, but showing off so much muscle that other women might see. He laughed playfully. My lady Bodhisattva, have mercy on this humble monk. I'm yours, body and soul. Who else would I be showing off for? Humph, you'd better mean it. She replied. Then, Liam solemnly raised 3 fingers. I swear, I am Daphne's person in life and Daphne's ghost in death. Okay, Daphne pouted. It's just that today is your first time 10th anniversary party. Because of James. We're so late. What a nuisance. Liam chuckled, leaning in to whisper in her ear. Don't worry. When we get there, just tell everyone you were giving me a hand at home. That's why we're late. Ha ha. Their laughter and playful noises faded down the corridor, leaving me trembling uncontrollably. I had been married to Daphne for 3 years, and she couldn't even remember our anniversary. Yet she remembered the exact date of Liam's first time and even perversely organized a party for it. Shortly after, my brother Leo burst into the room. Furious, he shoved his phone in my face. On the screen was a picture of Daphne and Liam, now dressed in matching couples outfits, looking perfectly matched. This is fucking disgusting. Leo spat. These two are carrying on right outside your room, like you're already dead. And they're using my family's hotel to throw that bastard's first-time anniversary party. We're going to catch them in the act. I immediately got up and pulled out my 4-line. I had to see with my own eyes how far they would go. Daphne had booked the penthouse of the 5-star hotel. Leo and I took the VIP entrance to avoid attention. By the pool, Daphne was in a bikini, leaning against Liam, casually playing with the hair falling over his forehead. A group of people were eating, drinking, and laughing mockingly. Brother Liam, you're really Miss Sinclair's favorite. They even celebrate this little thing for you. It's not a little thing. I was the one who helped him clean up after his first wet dream. Liam Chase feigned shyness, but his face was glowing with pride. Daphne, how can you just say that out loud in front of everyone? What's wrong with saying it? She retorted. Every time you had a need, wasn't I the one who solved it for you? The others got goosebumps and started jeering. Hey, 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 if you're like this, just get together already. Why keep that useless loser around? Yeah, stand-up was always Brother Liam's dream, and he actually ruined it. How disgusting. The pool's reflection shimmered on Daphne Sinclair's face. She just smiled. letting everyone insult me. I took a deep breath and turned to Leo Grant. Leo, does your family's hotel surveillance have audio? Leo's eyes were colder than mine. He nodded grimly. Don't worry. ITLL capture every single frame of these two's disgusting faces, with crystal clear audio. As the atmosphere grew more suggestive, that pack of low-life friends started playing Truth or Dare. The bottle spun and landed precisely on Liam Chase. The crowd egged him on. You lost. Down a whole case. Or jump in the pool and swim a lap. Daphne immediately frowned. Stop messing around. Liam drank all last night. He's not feeling well today. Cut it out. All right. All right. Protect Liam at all costs crazy. Someone laughed, raising their hands in mock surrender. Fine. Truth then. Brother Liam, tell us your biggest secret. Liam tugged at his collar awkwardly, his eyes drifting toward Daphne. Just one. He pretended to agonize. Well, I'll tell you a secret. Actually point one of my kidneys. Daphne tricked James Foster into giving it to me. The entire scene fell silent, except for a few suggestive gasps. Daphne didn't deny it. She just looked down at him with a doting, helpless expression. I got into a racing accident. Liam continued, voice thick with fake emotion, lying on that operating table. All I could think about was one thing. I never got to confess. I never got to tell Daphne I loved her. If I had another chance, I'd say no matter who I am, I want to stay by Daphne's side forever. Thinking of this, Liam looked like a child who had suffered a great injustice. Finally, Daphne spoke up, stroking his chest with heartache. How dare you bring that up? I was desperate back then. Almost thought he was going to die. I had to beg the doctors on my knees. Promised I'd do anything to save him. Thankfully, James was stupid enough to believe it. I told him he was the one in trouble, and he signed the donor agreement without even reading it. Now he's even more useless. Can't even get me pregnant properly. But it's fine that I still have Liam. Borrowing some sperm from him isn't out of the question. After saying this, Liam kissed her gratefully, and Daphne deepened the kiss in response. And I, standing in the shadows, felt the blood in my veins turn to ice. What fucking best friends. What pure friendship. Even a dog wouldn't believe that line. And I had given up my kidney for this woman I loved so deeply. In the end, everything that was mine became Liam Chase's. And Daphne still had the gall to call me useless. I could no longer contain myself. I roared and charged forward. A heavy punch landed on Liam's face. Again and again, as if I could vent all my pent-up grievance and resentment through my fists. You bastard. What right do you have? Give me back my kidney. But Daphne became like a rabid beast. What's wrong with you? I just used one of your kidneys. But you got me as your wife. Isn't that enough? She shoved me hard, and suddenly a tremendous force pulled at me violently. My vision went black. With a splash, I fell into the icy cold pool. The freezing water enveloped me instantly. I couldn't swim. I could only struggle. The empty space where my kidney used to be throbbed with pain, making it impossible to breathe. My body slowly sank. In my blurry vision, I looked up at the vast, endless blue sky and laughed. Ha. Isn't this great? Don't even need a divorce now. Daphne. We're really finished. Leo Grant's heart-wrenching scream echoed through the entire floor, just before I completely lost consciousness. For a split second, I thought I saw a flicker of pity in Daphne's eyes. She made a move as if to rush into the pool, but Liam's wailing was more piercing. He clutched Daphne's arm tightly. Daphne, don't go. My stomach hurts so bad. Call an ambulance. Daphne's movement froze midair. She looked at me deeply, then looked at her best friend. In the end, she turned away resolutely and pulled him tightly into her embrace. It's okay. Don't be scared. They'll call an ambulance right now. Sinking at the bottom of the pool, I laughed silently. Even at a time like this, she chose to protect him. It was Leo who finally jumped in himself and rescued me. On the brink of death, after such an incident, security wouldn't let anyone from the party leave. They were all taken to the police station for statements. A bunch of spoiled rich kids, all utterly humiliated, as Leo brought a stretcher to carry me away. Only Daphne and Liam were also fighting to get on the ambulance. Daphne's eyes were instantly red and swollen, Frantic. I called this ambulance. Liam is sick too. James just choked on a little water. What's he pretending for? Liam lowered his head. Daphne. Forget it. Let him have it. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me. Daphne's face was ashen, but she still comforted him in a low voice. It's not your fault. I was the one who pushed him. Leo trembled with rage. How can you even say that? If you hadn't tricked him, would he be missing a kidney? If you hadn't pushed him, would he be drowning? Shut up. Daphne's eyes turned cold. Liam is suffering enough already. Leo sneered. He's suffering. He's probably secretly thrilled. If something happens to James, he can swoop in and take his place. Tears welled up in Liam's eyes instantly. I didn't. I really didn't. Leo wanted to say more, but I grabbed his hand. Forget it. Let them have it. Daphne immediately moved to let Liam onto the stretcher. Before my consciousness faded completely, I heard Daphne say to him, Does it hurt a lot? Don't be afraid. I told you. He'll always be by your side. By the time I was rushed to the hospital, the doctors directly issued a critical condition notice. Soon after, her parents arrived at the hospital in a panic. Upon learning I was fighting for my life due to drowning and infection, her father, Mr. Sinclair Sr., slapped Daphne hard across the face. Daughter, how could you be so foolish? James is your husband. How could you abandon him? Daphne's head snapped to the side from the force. Liam immediately gasped in distress and anguish, wanting to step forward but not daring to. Back when the Sinclair family was on the verge of bankruptcy, if it weren't for his parents' help, would we even have today? It's a pity Oldley passed away early, leaving this son behind. I said we must repay them properly, which is why I let you marry him. Do you want your father to be known as a disloyal, unjust person? After saying this, Mr. Sinclair glared sternly and kicked the back of her knee. Daphne staggered, but before she could kneel properly, Liam threw himself to his knees in front of Mr. Sinclair. Uncle, please don't blame Daphne. It's all my fault. Blame me. I love her, am willing to do anything for her. Mr. Sinclair looked down at this pretentious man at his feet, not angry but laughing, his eyes full of utter contempt. He raised his foot and mercilessly kicked Liam to the ground. You think you're worthy. You're not even fit to be seen in polite company. I turned a blind eye to Daphne's little games with you, and you dare push your luck. Let me make this clear, Mr. Sinclair Sr. said, his voice dripping with contempt as he looked down at the man on the floor. Even if I were to drop dead today, a lowlife like you wouldn't be fit to tarnish my family's name. Mr. Sinclair usually doted on his daughter, Daphne, but on matters of principle, no one could sway him. Liam Chase tried to stand up, but with a mere wave of Mr. Sinclair's hand, several security guards entered and escorted him out. Leo Grant watched it all unfold with grim satisfaction. I don't remember what happened after that. When I woke up, there was an unexpected visitor in my hospital room. It was Victoria Vicky Sterling, my childhood playmate. I was surprised to see her. Leo, who had been silent, finally spoke up. Vicky has been worried sick about you. She kept asking me about you. I couldn't hide what happened from her. He paused. Also, that $100 million project you were negotiating. The silent partner behind it. It's her. I looked up in astonishment, meeting her gentle, watery gaze. She took my hand, tears streaming down her face silently. James Foster. Are you that surprised to see me? Weren't you the one hiding from me because of that woman? Daphne. Well, you can't hide anymore. Her voice was soft but firm. From today, all business collaborations with the Sinclair family are terminated. Now, get better. Fast. Her words filled me with a warmth I hadn't felt in years. When my family's company went bankrupt and my parents passed away one after the other, I was left with nothing but ruins. I didn't want to burden anyone, especially not Vicky, my childhood sweetheart. So I left our hometown alone. I never expected to meet the Sinclairs here. Mr. Sinclair, wanting to repay my family's past kindness, insisted I marry into their family. Daphne pursued me relentlessly, swearing she'd never give up on me. That's why I agreed to the marriage. Who could have imagined Daphne would be such rottenness wrapped in a pretty package? James, eat something, Vicky said softly. She didn't press further, simply picking up a thermos. carefully blowing on the food to cool it, and then bringing it to my lips. Get your strength back, and we'll go home. Home. The word washed over me like a warm tide, instantly dispersing the shadows that had clouded my heart. During my hospital stay, Vicky never left my side. She would push my wheelchair into the garden for walks and sit with me as we watched the sunset paint the sky a soft orange. I suddenly felt a pang of sadness. What had I done to deserve such devotion from her? When Vicky wheeled me back to my room one evening, Daphne was already there, waiting. She sat by the bed, her head bowed, her expression unreadable. Vicky's face darkened immediately. "What are you doing here? Who are you?" Daphne snapped, looking up with fury in her eyes. "This is between husband and wife. It's none of your business." Vicky was about to retort, but I nodded for her to step out. "Daphne," I said, my voice weary, "are you here to pick a fight?" She seemed to collect herself slightly, offering a faint, apologetic look. "I'm sorry. I can't stand seeing another woman by your side." I laughed bitterly. "So, it's do as I say, not as I do. The magistrates can freely burn down houses, while the common people aren't even allowed to light their lamps." She was taken aback. Then her voice turned shrill. "What Liam and I did was excessive. I admit that. I didn't expect things to go this far. But there's really nothing between us. You didn't have to bring some woman here just to provoke me." I looked at the face that once made my heart race and felt only profound irony. "Daphne, do you really think any of this matters now? Do you have any idea how much I've suffered for you?" She opened her mouth to speak, but closed it again. My voice remained calm, yet each word was a dagger. "You told me you were hospitalized. I drove like a madman for 500 kilometers just to see you as fast as I could. I begged the doctors on my knees to let me donate my kidney to you. And in the end, you told me it was all a lie." My voice remained steady, laced with a pain that cut deep. "After the donation, I got an infection. I was in the ICU, in agony, begging for death. I thought you were suffering alongside me. But where were you? You were with Liam Chase, praying for his quick recovery. His life was bought with a peace of mind. Daphne," my voice finally cracked with emotion, "when you were out partying every night with Liam, when you spent your nights tending to his needs, did you ever stop to think about how I was surviving my nights? Does your conscience ever ache?" I raised my voice, all the pent-up grievance and resentment finally erupting. "If you love him so much, if you can't live without him, why did you ever come after me? Why were you so good to me? Why did you play the part of someone deeply in love, making me naively believe that you truly wanted to be my family, that you truly loved me?" The room was silent, save for the steady beep of medical equipment. After a long time, she finally spoke. "James, let's get a divorce." I cut her off, closing my eyes in exhaustion. "To set you free, and to set myself free." Her pupils contracted. "What did you say?" I said, "Divorce. I don't want anything. I just want to be free of you." "Divorce." She suddenly let out a scornful laugh, scrutinizing me. "James, I've already apologized. How long are you going to keep this up? Just because I'm a little close to my male best friend. You're making a huge deal out of nothing, ready to throw our marriage away." She seemed convinced I was just throwing a tantrum, falling back on her usual script. It wasn't intentional. The situation was critical. I was just trying to save someone quickly. Before she could finish, her phone rang. I heard it clearly, Liam's heart-wrenching sobs on the other end. Sure enough, the woman who was just begging for my forgiveness shot to her feet. "Liam, wait for me. I'm coming right now." Hanging up, she glared at me with pure venom. "James, I underestimated you. You're so scheming. Are you only satisfied if you destroy him? Just you wait. This isn't over." She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. At that moment, my phone screen lit up with a message and a video link from Leo. The message read, "Watch the show. It's just getting good." I clicked the link. It was a live stream. Liam Chase was on stage at the comedy club, pouring his heart out to the camera. The background music was Eason Chan's siblings playing softly. "I've always stayed by her side as her best friend," he confessed, hoping that one day she'd turn around and see me. The comments section was flooded with sympathy and support, pining under the guise of friendship. This is so sweet. Anchor, be brave. We'll always support you. Little brother is so brave. Go win your sister back. Just as this touching atmosphere peaked, Leo burst into the live stream on his own feed. A mistress' heartfelt confession is worth encouraging. Have this generation's morals been eaten by dogs? He roared. My brother, this lattice husband, was just drowned and nearly killed by this mistress and the scumbag working together. He's still lying in a hospital bed, and this piece of trash has the nerve to go live and play the victim for sympathy. The comments exploded. Holy shit. No way. Proof. Where's the proof? Don't spout nonsense without evidence. Liam Chase was clearly caught off guard by this turn of events. He had no idea that the very five-star hotel where he secretly rendezvoused with Daphne Sinclair was part of Leo Grant's family's property empire. Leo didn't mince words. He immediately released the video evidence at a 360-degree, no-holds-barred expose of the so-called friendship between this despicable pair. There was high-definition footage of them embracing, kissing, and entangled in the presidential suite. There were screenshots of a full year's worth of hotel booking records, dense and shocking in their frequency. Finally, and most damningly, was the complete security footage Leo had pulled from the hotel's control room, showing Daphne shoving me violently into the pool to protect Liam. The evidence was irrefutable, undeniable. The live stream's comments section instantly flipped from supportive blessings to a tidal wave of vitriolic abuse, the screen nearly drowning in a flood of profanity. I heard that bitch tricked her husband into donating a kidney for her lover. She deserves to die. How dare that homewrecker have the nerve to do a live confession? Get out. Just then, the live feed shook violently as Daphne burst onto the scene, rushing in to catch a swaying Liam and hold him tightly in her arms. Liam pointed an accusing finger at me through the screen, deflecting all blame. I just love her. What's wrong with loving someone? Why is James Foster persecuting me like this? Daphne screamed into the camera, her demeanor frantic and unhinged. Don't be afraid. Liam, let him try to fight me. You think the Sinclair group is afraid of a mere live-in son-in-law. With that, Daphne terminated the live stream. But it was too late. Hashtags like hashtag Sinclair heiress cheats and hashtag comedian Liam is the other woman were already trending. Before Leo ended his own broadcast, he delivered one final line. Just you wait. Your reckoning has only just begun. Daphne was scrambling, frantic about how to suppress the online backlash and public scorn, completely unaware that the Sinclair group was already a hollow shell. They never imagined that I, a mere son-in-law they looked down upon, possessed such influence. Many of the Sinclair group's key partners were clients I had personally won over, drink by drink. Upon learning how the Sinclairs had betrayed me, they all chose to terminate their collaborations. Furthermore, the mysterious partner, Victoria Vicky Sterling, withdrew all her financial support entirely. The Sinclair group's funding chain snapped. Their stock price plummeted, plunging them into an unprecedented crisis. The once powerful Sinclair patriarch now stood guard outside my hospital room daily, begging for my mercy. The final blow came from the so-called friends at the pool party, summoned by the police and seeking to save themselves. They scrambled over each other to finger Daphne and Liam. After I recovered enough to provide a full statement to the police, they were arrested and charged. Mr. Sinclair Sr. knelt at my doorstep, tears streaming down his aged face, clutching at my trousers. My parenting failed. He sobbed. Please, spare my only daughter. I looked down at him coldly. I can help you. First, sign this divorce agreement. Second, compensate me $50 million for my physical and emotional damages. Mr. Sinclair had no choice but to agree. Yet, when Daphne saw me, she was still hesitant. James, are you really this cruel? Forgive me. We really weren't. I remained silent. Under her father's stern coercion, Daphne reluctantly signed the papers. Once the $50 million was transferred and the lawyers witnessed the signing, I was finally free from that marriage. But the divorce was one thing. The criminal case was another. Causing intentional harm leading to near drowning wasn't a matter I could simply forgive unilaterally. Before the trial, Liam Chase, who had always followed Daphne's lead, completely broke down under the immense fear. She pushed him. She did everything. I didn't lay a hand on him. I don't want to go to jail. Daphne stared in utter disbelief at the man she had coddled and cherished. Liam, didn't we promise to take a knife for each other? Why are you betraying me? Hearing this, Liam let out a sinister, harsh laugh. Betrayal. I shouldered all the blame for you. I became a publicly scorned homewrecker. And what did I get in the end? Nothing but a prison sentence. Daphne, you can sit in your own jail cell. I'm not going down with you. Their unbreakable friendship shattered completely in the face of reality, becoming an utter joke. In the end, Daphne Sinclair was sentenced to prison for intentional assault. Liam Chase was also administratively detained for several months for his involvement. I filed a lawsuit to reclaim every cent, every item Daphne had gifted Liam during our marriage. So when Liam was eventually released, he was greeted by a bankrupt, reputationally ruined mess. He disappeared into obscurity not long after. I heard that in prison, Daphne often spaced out, starting to miss my goodness over and over. But it was too late. The wind had blown the past away. My story would never include her again. Daphne started writing me letters, filled with remorse and pleas for forgiveness for me, and for what we once had. I never read them, tossing them directly into the trash. The $50 million compensation had virtually emptied the Sinclair family's coffers, leaving them with no chance of recovery. I returned to my hometown with Victoria Sterling to start over. She looked at me and asked, "Will you run away this time?" I said, "No, I won't run anymore." Liam Chase was clearly caught off guard by this turn of events. He had no idea that the very five-star hotel where he secretly rendezvoused with Daphne Sinclair was part of Leo Grant's family's property empire. Leo didn't mince words. He immediately released the video evidence at a 360-degree, no-holds-barred expose of the so-called friendship between this despicable pair. There was high-definition footage of them embracing, kissing, and entangled in the presidential suite. There were screenshots of a full year's worth of hotel booking records, dense and shocking in their frequency. Finally, and most damningly, was the complete security footage Leo had pulled from the hotel's control room, showing Daphne shoving me violently into the pool to protect Liam. The evidence was irrefutable, undeniable. The live stream's comments section instantly flipped from supportive blessings to a tidal wave of vitriolic abuse, the screen nearly drowning in a flood of profanity. I heard that bitch tricked her husband into donating a kidney for her lover. She deserves to die. How dare that homewrecker have the nerve to do a live confession? Get out. Just then, the live feed shook violently as Daphne burst onto the scene, rushing in to catch a swaying Liam and hold him tightly in her arms. Liam pointed an accusing finger at me through the screen, deflecting all blame. I just love her. What's wrong with loving someone? Why is James Foster persecuting me like this? Daphne screamed into the camera, her demeanor frantic and unhinged. Don't be afraid. Liam, let him try to fight me. You think the Sinclair Group is afraid of a mere live-in son-in-law. With that, Daphne terminated the live stream. But it was too late. Hashtags like hashtag Sinclair Heiress cheats and hashtag comedian Liam is the other woman were already trending. Before Leo ended his own broadcast, he delivered one final line. Just you wait. Your reckoning has only just begun. Daphne was scrambling, frantic about how to suppress the online backlash and public scorn, completely unaware that the Sinclair Group was already a hollow shell. They never imagined that I, a mere son-in-law they looked down upon, possessed such influence. Many of the Sinclair Group's key partners were clients I had personally won over, drink by drink. Upon learning how the Sinclairs had betrayed me, they all chose to terminate their collaborations. Furthermore, the mysterious partner, Victoria "Vicky" Sterling, withdrew all her financial support entirely. The Sinclair Group's funding chain snapped. Their stock price plummeted, plunging them into an unprecedented crisis. The once powerful Sinclair patriarch now stood guard outside my hospital room daily, begging for my mercy. The final blow came from the so-called friends at the pool party, summoned by the police and seeking to save themselves. They scrambled over each other to finger Daphne and Liam. After I recovered enough to provide a full statement to the police, they were arrested and charged. Mr. Sinclair Sr. knelt at my doorstep, tears streaming down his aged face, clutching at my trousers. My parenting failed. He sobbed, "Please, spare my only daughter." I looked down at him coldly. "I can help you. First, sign this divorce agreement. Second, compensate me $50 million for my physical and emotional damages." Mr. Sinclair had no choice but to agree. Yet, when Daphne saw me, she was still hesitant. "James, are you really this cruel? Forgive me." "We really weren't." I remained silent. Under her father's stern coercion, Daphne reluctantly signed the papers. Once the $50 million was transferred and the lawyers witnessed the signing, I was finally free from that marriage. But the divorce was one thing. The criminal case was another. Causing intentional harm leading to near drowning wasn't a matter I could simply forgive unilaterally. Before the trial, Liam Chase, who had always followed Daphne's lead, completely broke down under the immense fear. She pushed him. She did everything. I didn't lay a hand on him. "I don't want to go to jail." Daphne stared in utter disbelief at the man she had coddled and cherished. "Liam, didn't we promise to take a knife for each other? Why are you betraying me?" Hearing this, Liam let out a sinister, harsh laugh. "Betrayal. I shouldered all the blame for you. I became a publicly scorned homewrecker. And what did I get in the end? Nothing but a prison sentence. Daphne, you can sit in your own jail cell. I'm not going down with you." Their unbreakable friendship shattered completely in the face of reality, becoming an utter joke. In the end, Daphne Sinclair was sentenced to prison for intentional assault. Liam Chase was also administratively detained for several months for his involvement. I filed a lawsuit to reclaim every cent, every item Daphne had gifted Liam during our marriage. So when Liam was eventually released, he was greeted by a bankrupt, reputationally ruined mess. He disappeared into obscurity not long after. I heard that in prison, Daphne often spaced out, starting to miss my goodness over and over. But it was too late. The wind had blown the past away. My story would never include her again. Daphne started writing me letters, filled with remorse and pleas for forgiveness for me. And for what we once had. I never read them, tossing them directly into the trash. The $50 million compensation had virtually emptied the Sinclair family's coffers, leaving them with no chance of recovery. I returned to my hometown with Victoria Sterling to start over. She looked at me and asked, "Will you run away this time?" I said, "No, I won't run anymore.